you.
But just like dining versus doing everything that they do is different. Yeah. You can look at like our high school like extracurriculars and stuff. She's never seen it. All the everything. She doesn't really teach the big stuff for that. I was gonna say she left it into like yeah, she did. But that's why we do a lot of things. Like all the content, she did. There you go. Like there's a reason behind it because you work first. And I'm like, just calm down. Literally. She's a self. She's self. Yeah. She's running for fellowship. I wonder where she's getting that from. He's good. It's crazy. Is he? Actually, he's not there yet. Okay, I was like, there's no way he's 14. He does her business. He's so nice. Like, I was so honest. Like, I don't know, once you go to high school, like, oh, they will. I'm so excited for that. I don't know. He should feel like princess. Or not princess. Prince. You know, like, empty nester. Yeah. And like the tall. Yeah. Literally, he's like, I literally think I don't know. It's so weird going home now. So enjoy that life about it. I'm like, oh, really? You guys are like their pride and joy. We are. But I don't know. They're really loving life. That's like guys. Usually. But you guys, yeah. He's so tired already. Yeah. I actually played. What's your mom? My mom's a freelance writer. So she used to work for pharmaceuticals, but now she's doing I would like to think about it. I don't really catch up with too many Where's the curtain?
What are you doing here today? That's good. Oh, yeah.
Wild.
Sorry. Testing 1, 2, 3.
You too. Oh, you're I cannot get over that. Yeah. Little, are you traveling? You're very professional. No, I love it. Just like, yeah. The funny thing is when you see the part of it, it was like the next thing I was part of it. So it was like funny, like, yeah. And then, you know, it's real. Okay.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Test. I think one of the charters is broken. I just swapped them earlier.
Are they good now?
They're both good now.
So that's something we need to use office supplies for. Is there something else you need back here? Is there something else you need?
Nope, this should be great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
Did you want to check about Yes, did you want to check about the Pepsi products?
No, we had that figured out.
Okay, they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
How much you know about that?
There's one.
That has nothing to do with that.
No, it's Pepsi. Pepsi and the entirety. They deliver
Whenever
it.
we've had issues with the internet, we call building management calls catering, they get figured out.
Really?
Yeah.
Every time I just call straight to catering.
I don't have the number.
Oh. You gotta Google my friend. Gotta look it up.
I tried looking it up on Google.
There's- Huh?
I tried looking it up on Google.
Well, I did it through the School of Engineering, so they probably have their contacts.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, but Chris has, or what's his name? Robert has like 64, so he's gonna bring them. That's not enough. I don't know.
I think it'll be fine. Not everyone's gonna want soda.
Because apparently there were a lot of people that called in or emailed in already. That's what he
For,
said for today.
oh, probably studying.
If you need anything, then you can
I should be good. I'm just going to get the
live stream.
projector good.
Is that
Yeah.
set up?
Shay had it set up earlier.
Okay.
That's good.
Emma, are you excited that Carson's
10
coming?
minutes.
I am, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, we have lots of Senate chats, so.
How do you know about Carson? Did you guys go to high school together?
Yeah, we're really close friends from high school.
He's the funniest guy ever.
He is,
I love his energy.
yes. If anything, like, his laugh is the most contagious thing ever, and that's just what we've always
He's
been.
really pretty. There was a group chat or something when we went to a conference in Iowa, and he was just like this.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Like, literally, this situation was funny.
He really wants to see how
Yeah.
KU Senate works.
He like texted me,
so-
he was like, are you okay if we like pop in?
He told me he was gonna tell you guys, and he was like, yeah, you probably should. He's like, should I show up? And I'm like, no, you probably should be like, hey.
Chris was actually the one that gave me a heads up last week, this Monday, that he was coming in, so he'd say who it was. So what do you guys do now?
Yeah.
I don't know if any.
Hey, where are you?
It's gonna be so long. I worked, or we're supposed to go get dinner.
Okay, you can get headed over here pretty quickly. We have,
Yeah, he's funny.
okay, sweet. Thank you. Bye.
No, I believe it.
He was not like that, like, in the beginning of high school, and then like later in high school, he kind of got more that way, which was good, because the things he was.
You know where I'm at.
But him and I reorganized the Michigan Democrats and like our whole
Oh,
team
yeah.
over like after our freshman year, Southeast Kansas.
Okay.
So, you know where like Pittsburgh State is?
Yeah.
It's that area.
Right.
But yeah, so,
Yeah, he's very active. And I was like, this is not you. I was like,
Yeah.
it's just like everything they got to say.
right.
Full
It's-
360.
It is, but he's super into it, and we kind of like passed it off to people who are there full time now, the past month, but he's super involved with Rising County. He used to be their secretary. Right.
Great man.
Right.
Doing God's work. Maybe we can get another table then.
Oh, where there's like seating and stuff? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to Billy later. We get a table, because I was usually sit here, so we can play the game. I'll put the table, little drinks.
Those are all.
That's it? Okay.
What's up?
I believe that's our guest speaker.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay. I want to get started early. We have a lot.
Can you strike Jordan from the replacement agenda? They emailed me that they no longer want to do Senate.
I think we also strike Brendan from the office reports. He's sick.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it is. So it's just the one replacement center?
Hello.
How are you?
Are you Jennifer? Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming to speak with us tonight.
Yeah. Looks
Sure. You can connect that. If you want to connect your laptop, it's here, then just select HDMI. Otherwise, if you can, we keep all of our presentations in our Teams file so that people can access them if they're not here. If you're willing to send it to me, and then I can just pull it up again. Robert, it was Jordan, right? Jordan's not?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just Kate. Just Kate?
Just Kate.
Okay. Are they going to be here?
Yeah.
Okay.
They joined the teams. What's up? Nisha?
Hi, Robert. Yeah. The seat behind me was really empty. Yep. Actually, the whole class was there. It's up to you. Yeah.
Did they know for
I didn't really look back. We just.
Yeah, I was like, I had working at that one. Because I woke up late. So it was really late class, and I was like, why would I walk all the way from traffic to like just for some reason?
Exactly. Oh, especially when like.
Senate
Yeah,
Speaker
I
at
was like,
KU.edu.
literally, and I did.
Yeah.
It should pop up as student science speaker in the group.
Oh, you gotta say that.
No, I just put my backpack.
Oh, that's lame.
I know. Like a whole lot, like 6 hours. This year. I know. It's not easy.
Can you get the attendance poll out and then please have the minutes ready?
Yeah.
Also, your amendment for the resource closet, you never got it to me.
I sent it.
Yeah, you know
I
what Jill
sent it to you.
said? You skipped class
Bro.
today. What was up with that? Yeah, what was up with that? I mean, I should have been skipping.
I just don't skip Sunday. Why didn't they do that?
I did get it. I'm sorry. I
It's all
just
good,
I
all
didn't
good.
get the notification.
No, you just scared me, man.
You already presented.
Robert, I actually can't be here today. Can you give me an excuse absence?
Dude, I had like a dozen people ask today.
Can you excuse my absence?
close to just texting you like,
Robert, can you excuse my absence so I can leave? So I can leave?
I'm you.
Hey, Manisha.
Putting these in makes
Am I gonna get a separate?
Yeah. You guys don't know what. Okay, Stace, what's next?
What do you want to say like presentation?
Senate Speaker at KU.edu. Should be the same address I've been communicating.
Bro. Yep.
No, keep it. I'll keep it under our files.
Okay. Is it Senate Speaker too?
Yes. It'll pop up as student Senate Speaker in the directory.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. I've done that.
We'll see about it. But trust me, everything when it's any lesson the boy got to know about.
Oh, you want to do this in?
I'm not asking you. I'm gonna be looking of course.
Wait, so what's gonna happen? Somebody gonna take your position?
I don't know. I should get from somebody else.
I mean, you
Oh my god.
I don't think. Should I do it? Yeah, I don't think.
But they need it.
But I don't think anybody else can feel much. It's a big shoe to fill.
Yes, of course.
It's a big shoe. Well, I should
You gotta
be
get that turnover document ready.
turnover.
You have to have a turnover document.
Well, that's what somebody told me.
Megan, you're up front.
She's gonna train them.
But you're supposed to have a little document.
I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Shit, where you at?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're trying to steal my chair again, Robert.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, she's with you. What do you mean, shit? That's the president of National
yeah,
Studios.
yeah, literally text her right here.
Skip. This is not good. Coach, oh my lord. I'm struggling. This is not my computer. I'm teams. A facial? What is that? I thought you meant like plastic surgery. I was like, I'm a little offended. No, I'm alright. Yeah. No. What time is it?
It's 28.
No. I'm trying, Chris. I'm trying really hard, man. Wait, we gotta do this on Teams. We're not. Oh, what's that? Why is it doing this? I don't need a dictionary. I don't know how to use this.
Jennifer, your presentation is on the next tab.
This would be better than like. I do not have it pulled up. It is. We're gonna go to 10. Chris just wanted me to get like right there.
We're gonna go log into the microphone.
We have. Right. No. Thank you. We're almost there. I finally got this computer set up.
I'm gonna talk it tonight.
Where's this? Where's the control? Oh, it's right here. Copy, 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 copy. Please help, please help. Oh my gosh, you are. Please stop that. Hi guys, attendance is out in that channel, so please fill it out. And also, we do have some drinks in the back that you are free to take. Why does it every time I double click it like gives me a definition instead of the
It has an amendment to the AC liability because the committee. I'll probably recognize, you might probably recognize you first. To explain the finances. Yeah, I sort of know Ruby, so I want to cut off that discussion.
Excuse me.
yeah, it's gonna be like
I need to get my computer set up. What's up? You can talk to me. Constitutionality?
Yeah, so advisors said, well, advisors told us, like, we already talked about this up in it doesn't go like the Constitution, like you literally can't.
The recruitment provision?
What?
The recruitment provision or the purpose of funding?
The purpose of funding. I don't remember the area.
So the purpose of funding is for KU students, and you're opposing it because it's for the community, students in the community, not
For
like,
elementary
yeah.
and middle school students, they are not paid.
This is something that we've funded for multiple years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's never come up because it was just funded like the last couple of years. But the thing is it's a teacher event that only supports engineering, and it's not because it's for engineering, because it's elementary and middle school students. And so if engineering cares about it and it really does, then they need to fund it.
Okay, 1 second, let me take a look at this. Is it under the regulations?
Uh,
Purpose and responsibility, supporting student activities and services.
yeah.
That's all it says.
That's not or students.
You could say it doesn't count, it doesn't specify key students.
Anything in there that when we talk about the students, we're talking about K students. Oh, so we could give someone this money because I don't know students are stupid. Or K State.
I think they're
So you're going to bring up a point of order when we get to it?
Right, Prasad?
Okay.
Prasad, they could put it in the Constitution if they want to make
Like
it
it's pretty much
happen.
already been decided.
As a man of the Constitution, I think that's what you can do. Yeah.
Doesn't it count as a student activity because it's being run by students?
Hi, Danae. Love that jacket. It looks good.
Hold on, hold on.
Oh, for what?
Janae, who decided?
Wait,
What?
Who did you have to?
Mateo. And what? I think the other advisor said.
Okay, I don't want to delay this anymore. I'm going to talk to Mateo.
What's going on? It's a post-game celebration. I told you about this last week. You did not. Yes, as you were leaving, I said, what did I say? I was like, oh, next week, after party at the Hawk. And I'm gonna give an announcement, not during my own support, like after.
Amend the agenda.
You're
Let's go.
Yeah. I'm
Not
really close to your goal. You got me.
oh, let's turn around.
No, it's a surprise.
Let me see the BBL, Casey.
Hey.
Not for free. You have to wait till the end of assembly.
I love your study.
Thank you.
If you feel comfortable.
I don't like
So, Nick, my name tag on stuff.
no videos,
Oh,
pictures.
yeah, we should get off that.
I tried very hard.
Then it'll be okay.
All right. There's one picture of me winning like a.
Yeah.
Yes, Browns wants to make
Yeah, sure.
Where's your
You know, I used to work. You got a picture of your kid? Any picture of you?
You, this one fell off, like, what?
We're about to get started.
Okay.
Is the poll open? Yeah. For attendance? Okay, sweet. Thank you.
I like it. I don't think I've seen on the left side.
Thanks, Ivana. Good evening, everyone. The Students' Assembly is called to order for Cycle 7. This is our last cycle of this semester. It is great to see you all tonight. Thank you. That was really weak, guys. We have a lot to get through tonight, so let's get started. First up is the approval of the minutes for the last meeting of the Students' Assembly. These are uploaded to Teams. Yes.
I motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second? I see a second from Sean Lawson. Sorry, motion from the Student Body Vice President. Is there any objection to approving the minutes from the last meeting of the Students' Assembly? Hearing none, they are approved. Next up, please welcome Jennifer Roberts, Senior Vice Provost for Academic Affairs and Graduate Studies.
Thank you, everyone. We'll try this mic. Sorry, everybody. Okay, well, I am here to let you know about our preparation for the Higher Learning Commission reaffirmation of accreditation site visit, which is happening for the first time in 10 years. So it happens every 10 years, and it will be March 3rd and 4th of 2025. And so I'll go over kind of some of the jargon. Anybody in an accredited program, any engineers? ABET was just here. Did you participate in the ABET accreditation visit? So this is a very similar situation where we are pretty much going through a self-evaluation. So we've spent the last 2 years doing a self-evaluation, ensuring that we meet all the expectations of our accreditor. And what will happen next is we will have peer reviewers come and make sure that they agree that we're meeting all of the expectations that our accreditor expects of us. So we really have accreditation because it validates our academic programs. That's part of the way the federal government ensures that we are okay to give out federal financial aid as an institution. It is a requirement to have all of the professional accreditation that all of you have in your professional schools. And it is a requirement from the Kansas Board of Regents. And really, it is meant to just be a standard that we are holding ourselves to, that we can show to other institutions, to employers, and to the public that we are doing our due diligence to be the best institution that we can be. So that's what they'll be coming to review. And we are accredited actually as one university. So KU Med really functions very differently than KU Lawrence and Edwards. But this will be an accreditation of both campuses. So you will see probably more interaction from KU Med on this campus than maybe you do otherwise. And we have been working with them now to make sure that we have all of the pieces together. So I'm going to tell you about that. I'm going to invite you to participate, and I'm going to tell you how best you can participate. And I have little parts of cheat sheets because they want to make sure that all of us know all of the things. So these have the institutional learning goals on them. And does anybody know what these are?
Utensils.
Yeah, they're silverware with a straw. We ordered the one with a straw. Anyway, you are welcome to take these, but we will be asked about some of our things like our institutional learning goals, like our mission, like our vision, like our values. And so if you already know them, good for you. And if you don't, you'll be exactly like the faculty who teach you classes. And so don't stress too much on it, but we have a few little pointers just to kind of cheat on the day of. Anyway, here's kind of some of the terminology. We are on the open pathway, and really that just means we're on a 10-year cycle of accreditation. And we have to do a quality initiative. This was part of things that your academic units have been up to for the past 2 years. It's things that maybe you all haven't seen yet, but it's parts of assessment that are supposed to help improve student learning in your courses, in your degree programs. It also is degree maps. So it's trying to map out pathways for all of you in your specific degree programs to ensure that you can really see visible pathways to completion and some things like that. So that really finished off in the spring. And now we are preparing for this next part, which is the on-site visit. So we are going to have a peer review team. So that just means other administrators at other universities are going to come and review our documents and make sure that not only does our document meet standards, but then when they go and ask all of you that you don't have a different story than the document, that we didn't just make things up, that it's actually accurate to everybody's experience on the ground. We do have criteria, and I'll show them to you. There are 5 criteria that we have to write an argument that says we meet them in what is called an assurance argument. So we have a 35,000 word document, and it has taken us 2 years to write it. It took a little while, that tells how we are meeting that. And it has to be supported by documentation. So we can't just say, oh, hey, we do this and have them believe us. We have to have web pages and documentation. And so there's about 10,000 pieces of evidence that we have to upload into the system that show that we're doing all of the things that we say we are. And then that, along with the site visit, will be kind of the entire comprehensive evaluation that they will use to tell us, yes, you're great, go ahead and continue to be accredited, or here are some things you need to work on. So if you look at this kind of from the point of view of the 10-year cycle, this is where we are. And we're we've been through all of these things. We're right there at the end, hoping that we can have good news in April. So as I said, they are going to ask us kind of what things, very basic things about the institution, all of us, that they expect us to know. And what's important to know about this is places like K-State, Northwestern University, JCCC, they're all accredited by the Higher Learning Commission, and they all have the same 5 criteria. And so the way we are differentiated is by our mission. Okay, so whatever our mission is as an institution is how they expect us to meet the criteria. And we're going to do it differently than K-State. We're going to do it differently than JCCC or Bethel College or any of the other universities, large and small, that are accredited by HLC. So anybody know what the mission is for the University of Kansas? Yep.
I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it's like along the lines of like to prepare students to be like effective at what they do and effective like citizens of the world.
I mean, yes, but it's a little more succinct. Yeah.
Some of our leaders
Okay, so I was going to say we have a room of leaders. We educate leaders.
to change the world.
Okay, that's the in part. What's the middle part? Okay, so we educate leaders. So the first part of our mission is education, right? That's why all of you are here. What else? Build healthy communities. And what are we doing to change the world as a research institution? We make discoveries. Yeah, we make discoveries that change the world. So, so that is our mission. And everything really needs to kind of flow from that, right? Those are the things that we're kind of doing. And if you're a faculty member, this is actually the way you're evaluated: teaching, research, and service. And it's those 3 components. So, so that's kind of the way it goes. This is the vision. I don't know if you know the vision, but we have visions for each campus. So ours is to be an exceptional learning community that lifts each member and advances society. Anybody know what the values are? Have I passed out? I didn't bring my stickers. It is iRise. Yes. Anybody know what iRise stands for?
Integrity, respect, innovation, stewardship, and excellence.
Nice. You certainly need some silverware for that. Okay, and then finally, we have the institutional learning goals. And the institutional learning goals do not flow quite as easily, but if you are first year, a second year student, you probably saw this as early as orientation. Maybe you've seen it since, but a lot of the general education courses, as well as some of the learning outcomes for your individual degrees, are aligned with these kind of basic foundational skills and outcomes. And then they will want to know if you know about our strategic plan, which is called Jayhawks Rising, and has 3, I think we're calling them priorities now, but 3 priorities, and then, you know, quite a few objectives that flow out of that. So those are kind of the basic things that kind of when they come here, they're going to ask us about. The other thing that they will do, and I just heard this afternoon when they will be telling you, but they will put out a student survey. So they will send out a survey starting on January 27th. So you all will be back in classes, and that will be open for 10 days. And I've never seen it, so I don't know what opinions they will ask of you, but I presume I'll show you some of the questions that are pretty typical that they'll ask you at the site visit. But we would really appreciate it if you all, of course, fill out the survey and then encourage your peers. We will be doing some pushes and trying to make sure people know about it, but you are a great group to now that you know about it, go out and talk to your peers about it. So the peer review visit, as I said, right before they get here, we'll write this argument, and I'll tell you where you can read that if you want to, that 35,000 words of institutional gold. And then we have a peer reviewer, our peer review team. I think it's 7 people. So we have a lead review guy. I think he's from Ohio State. Mainly it's big R1 institutions that they're coming from. They'll look at the survey, they'll look at our assurance argument, all the evidence from it. And then we also have what's called a federal compliance report. And that's like the really serious stuff that we have to do. And they'll review all of that. They'll ask us questions, my team questions, and ask for additional survey or evidence and things. And then they will come to campus and in the union for those 2 days, they'll have a whole bunch of sessions where they invite people and ask them questions. And it's mostly things that are already written in the assurance argument. But as students, it's going to be things like, did anybody go to the mock site visit that we had? Okay, well, I know one student did because they asked about advising. And there was one student who could talk about advising. And so what we really want is, it's going to be about your academic experience here on campus. And what we're hoping, they are asking for is, a very balanced view of what's going on. There's always going to be people who have different views. And so it's to get kind of that collective view of what a student experience looks like. So we'll get a report and they'll make a decision and say, yes, we passed, or they'll give us recommendations, probably 2 weeks to a month after the visit. And they'll either tell us we met with concerns, or we did not meet. Just so you know, we are in a space right now where we did not meet criterion 4 at our last visit. And that is about assessment and how we assess your learning in your education. So we've spent a lot of time trying to make that better, but that is a place where we are trying to improve that. So these are the criteria. There are 5 of them. The mission, as I said, is really about like, what's the mission of the university? What are all those things that we're doing to meet that mission? The integrity and ethical and responsible conduct, that's where a lot of the research enterprise sits. So how are we doing research? How are we ensuring that we're doing that in an ethical manner? What are our training protocols around, things like FERPA or admissions or things like that? Teaching and learning, we have 2 of the criterion that are around teaching and learning, and then evaluation of the teaching and learning, and then institutional effectiveness. This is really, are we planning? Do we have a plan for our resources and our budget, things like that? So these are kind of, they're different components, and you'll see things that you probably recognize, things like Jayhawks Rising, Core 34, that are going to Student Involvement and Leadership Center, right, SILC, where we are able to point to some ways that we meet these criteria and we provided evidence. And these are just examples. It's not comprehensive. And then here you can kind of see, like I said, conflict of interest reporting, that we're putting facts on our websites that are accurate, and that we are telling you what the cost of attendance is and that it's accurate, things like that. And I'm stuck. There we go. Sorry. And then we have some things like policy. So you'll see a lot of policy, USRR, FSRR, as well as, student code of conduct, faculty handbook. All of those things are kind of foundational documents that are going to be in this. I'm really struggling here. Sorry, everybody. There we go. Right. So then these are ways that we ensure that you have a high quality educational experience, that your faculty are actually qualified to teach what they're teaching you, that we have all the student support that is necessary for you to then complete your coursework. So library resources, things like that. And then, like I said, 4 is really where we're doing a lot of assessment and making sure that what we set up is actually working the way it should be. So, and that's all in here. And then 5, as I said, is a lot about budget. there's a lot of budget and strategic planning and how we tie those things together. So here are kind of the basic things that they may ask students in any of the sessions. What's it like to be a student? What are strengths? What are challenges? What do you enjoy about the community? What are the things that need to be improved? And then what a lot of these sessions are, they're going to be focused on the criteria. So criterion 1 and 2, there'll be one whole hour on that, 3 and 4 and 5. And so if you go to criterion 1 and 2, they're going to ask you if you know the mission statement. It's okay if you don't, but that's what they're going to ask you. They're going to talk about campus climate. If you're a transfer student, right? If you're a graduate student, if you're in one school versus another, those are the types of things they're going to ask you to provide some context for. Do you know what your learning outcomes are for your plan of study? Do you know what the core is? Have you taken classes? Can you get classes when you need them? Are they offered in a timely fashion? Do you get advising? Is that coherent and easy to get at? So it's kind of just, your experience that they're going to kind of probe into. There you go. Are you in Student Senate? There you go. So this is kind of the foundation. And so if you want to participate, and I really hope that you do, you are attending the informational session. I'd be happy to answer any questions. The assurance argument is going to be posted here. It is dry, but you're welcome to it. It is a incredibly nerdy view of all the details of this institution. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in higher education, it's all there. And then we've got those sample questions. I did upload these slides so that you have them, you can share them. And then look for that student survey between January 27th and the 5th. And please attend sessions and encourage others to. We will publish the schedule of sessions probably about 2 weeks ahead. It sounds like, when we've been doing this for 2 years, we should know ahead of time, but the reviewers actually tell us what they want to do. And they don't get our materials until February 3rd. So between February 3rd and March 3rd, we are kind of trying to change some things and accommodate them really on the fly. So we'll try to get that out as soon as possible, but it'll all be here in the union. And really every session could use students attending. So if you're here and you want to attend any of them, you're totally welcome. There are a bunch of open forums. And then of course, I don't know if the leadership here were able to meet with the mock site reviewers when they came in September, but I know Faculty Senate met with them. And so there will be a Student Senate and faculty governance session that they'll definitely want to talk to members of Student Senate and specifically. Questions? You can clap if you'd like, but any questions for me though?
All right, questions? Can you please pass the box over? Thank you. Please say name and position first.
My name is Simran. I'm the Vice Chair of Student Rights Council here. Just a really quick question. You mentioned that we failed to meet the 4B criteria. And so maybe I missed it, but what are we actively doing to get up to standards?
Good question. So most of the quality initiative that we proposed in 2022 was meant to rectify that. And what we have done is add additional staff in academic affairs, as well as the Center for Teaching Excellence. And we have started to measure. We weren't measuring student learning before in the core. We've started to do that. We also have a pretty rigorous and complex degree level assessment that includes those degree maps that we've enacted. And then we also have completely done our program review so that we're sort of looking at all the levels. So general education, degree level, and then what does a department look like? What are all the things that are going on? Are they doing it well? Where can they improve? So it's all the way through that we have revamped that. one of the things they're always looking for us to do is close the loop, which means we measure and then we assess where we can improve, and then we do it, and then we measure again and see if we did it. So that is the part we aren't to yet, but we are to building and actually starting to measure, but those interventions haven't necessarily been documented yet.
Further questions? Yep.
Really quick follow up on that. Is it, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I've realized like a lot of professors pushing for the end of course evaluations. Is that like one of the reasons why is to close that loop?
Absolutely. That is one piece of evidence to get feedback about what students didn't like about the course so that they can improve it. And yeah, we were talking about this yesterday. I think our rate is about 25% on the high end in any semester. And if we could get more student feedback, that's a place where faculty then can act on it, and with some of this other assessment, actually, improve their courses.
Any further questions? Going once? Yes, in the back there. Farzad, can you please toss the box back? Watch out. Yep.
Camilla Brown, law school rep. Did we receive a report card or anything about why we failed? Were there specific reasons, and are we addressing those?
Yes. So the report card was essentially that we had no regular cadence of assessment at any level, and this is the exception, other than in the professional schools where your accreditors make you do that. And where we did have regular, it was very, very low participation. And so what HLC wants is a culture of continuous improvement. And we had 63% of our departments actually reporting on assessment. We now are at 97. So there were basically all of those things where we had some people who were doing really great work, some people who were doing none at all, or maybe they were doing it, but we couldn't document it. So that's what we've been working to kind of put together.
Further questions? Anyone? Going once? Going twice? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will communicate with this body when we know exactly how we're going to send out that survey, so that you know if it's only email or if we're going to use other means of communication. And then as soon as I get that schedule, I will send it out to you. But if you have any questions in the meantime, please let me know. Do you want me to leave these, or do you want me to see what people want and then take the rest?
You could keep them if you like. Yeah. And we can, or you can leave them here, and we'll distribute them if that works for you.
I would love that, if that's okay.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
And then we have this presentation file up under the Students Assembly channel presentation files if you want to take a look at it later. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. We will proceed to the next item on our agenda, which is officer reports. First up, the student body president. Time? 10?
Okay, I don't have a whole lot because it's coming to the end of the semester, but just a couple things. So to give you all some different platform updates, Molly McGeary, our government relations director, she has been throughout the semester, she's been working with the city commission and the mayor and that group to create a city commission student seat. So sort of like how we've been working on creating a student seat on the Kansas Board of Regents, she's been working with the city to create a student seat on the city commission. And so she has a meeting with the mayor next week, and he seems very excited and very up for this. This would be a non-voting seat on the city commission, but would just be helpful in strengthening our ties between campus and the city. And then some updates on Shake Smart. So just a quick rundown for some of you that might not remember. Something that Yvonne and I ran on was creating a smoothie bar, protein shake shop in the rec center that would also offer like healthy food options like avocado toast, omelets, different things like that. So that was just presented in the Memorial Corporation Board last week, and it passed. So it's now into the next moving phases. They're figuring out the exact timeline of when construction is going to start, but it's looking like it's going to be open next fall. So all of the funding and everything got approved for it. So it is happening. They're just figuring out the timeline of whether it's going to open this summer or next fall. So that's very exciting. And there's a group of some little sophomore students in the business school who've been working on that in their business leadership class. Tomorrow, there is a tree counting event for KU grounds. It's tomorrow at 1 p.m. over by Marvin Grove, which is by the Spencer Museum. And so if you're willing to volunteer your time, they'd really appreciate that. And to help with that, you would literally just be counting the trees. They need to figure out how many trees are in that area so that they can figure out, they can get like a grant to be able to like plant more and cut down some of like the old ones. So if you have some free time, they would really appreciate your help in counting trees. Some non-platform related updates. So last Friday, we had our annual Holidays in Higher Ed event, which went very successfully. We had a lot of great attendees, like non-student attendees, such as the Chancellor, the Provost, the President of the Kansas Board of Regents, Travis Goff, the Director of Athletics, and so many more from different departments across campus. So that was really great. And shout out to Molly McGeary, our Government Relations Director, for putting that together. She was sick, so unfortunately she wasn't able to see the fruits of her labor, but it was a really well put together event. And something that has just popped up in my inbox is a Kansas Student Government Conference. So you'll remember earlier in the fall, I talked about the Big 12 Student Government Conference that we attend each year. Fort Hays has decided to create this new conference called the Kansas Student Government Conference. This has never been done before. So we're planning to attend in some sort of capacity. We still don't know what that looks like yet because this is very new and we didn't get any sort of a heads up about it, but it will be in January. And so I'll share more when I know more details myself. And then Casey Soper, our outreach director, he has been working with the BSU to plan an event. And so there will be an event in February called Spread the Love, where they'll be making little Valentine's Day cards to give out to people and send to just different places throughout the Lawrence community. And so it'll be Tuesday, February 11th in the Burge Union. And so then just for some quick things, I have the regular once a month meeting for the Kansas Board of Regents, our SAC Student Advisory Council next week in Topeka, and then on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we have our annual lunch with the Regents, where all of us presidents from the Kansas public institutions have lunch with or breakfast with the Regents and just advocate for students and talk about different things. Fee review is coming up next semester. Megan will talk more about that during her officer report, but within the exec staff, I've been talking with Ethan, our new treasurer, and Hamp, our fund development director, about what the student senate fee will look like a little bit. So we're starting those conversations. And then our community affairs director, Ola Kunle, he has got a really cool opportunity in Washington, D.C. next semester. So he has accepted an internship there. And so unfortunately, he will be leaving us. It's still in the air on if we will be reopening this position to rehire for it. You can hear more from us on that next semester. We're still figuring that out now. So that's a possibility. So if maybe you are interested in that position, you could start thinking about if it does reopen, if that's something you'd be interested in. So that's pretty much all I've got for you guys. Just wanted to say great job, everyone. Everyone's worked really hard and done a good job and showed up. And we've had some difficulties, we've had some problems, but we worked through it and made it out on the other side. So thank you just for your public service that you all have given us on each of these Wednesday nights that can be super tedious sometimes. So I'll see you guys for round 2 next semester.
Nay, questions. Questions for the student body president? I had one. Could you provide more detail, the reasoning behind the Fort Hays Student Government Conference?
I don't know.
Okay. thank you.
They literally just sent me an email saying, giving a date.
Farzad? Nice catch.
Like 3 years ago, there was a 2040 Lawrence Planning Commission where they had like a student join the board for that. Is that seat still actively filled by a student senator? And is that going to be merged with the city commission?
I remember that, but I've not heard about that ever since, like 3-4 years ago when that first was brought up. So I really have no idea, but Molly can definitely bring that up in her meeting that she has with the mayor.
Okay, thanks.
Further questions for the student body president? Yes, Manisha.
What's the plan on filling that student seat? Would we elect somebody? Would it just be the government relations person, or?
Molly, do you want to answer that? Okay. I think she's still sort of like negotiating it with the city. So it's not set in stone yet. She's just trying to put the idea out there and make something possible to strengthen our relationship.
Further questions?
Thank you.
Further questions? Going once, going twice? All right, thank you very much. The student body vice president. Time?
7 minutes.
Mhm. Ready when you are.
I'm sorry.
Ready.
Okay.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for a phenomenal semester. It's been really great to serve in this position, really learned a lot and gotten to learn a lot as well. So just some updates on platforms that we've also been working on. So last General Assembly meeting, I talked about the parking platforms that we were presenting, such as the free 2-hour parking in the front row of the recreation center for all students, and then the free 2-hour parking in front of the rec on basketball game days, and then a once-a-year option to donate to the campus cupboard instead of paying a parking ticket. So we will be presenting these platforms again at the January Parking Commission. And so I've been able to meet with other stakeholders here at the university, as well as reach out to other institutions within the state of Kansas to get their input, as well as feedback and advice on how to successfully adopt these platforms, as well as kind of their tips and tricks for how they were able to succeed in this. Additionally, I've been talking about hammocks quite a bit. So Student Senate is actively working to have hammocks around campus, and I have an exciting update in regards to this. So the metalwork and the welding for the hammocks has been completed for the first one. And so we should have one hammock around campus before the end of the 2024 year. And the rest of the hammocks will be installed around campus next semester. So kind of the idea that was presented to me from the director of facilities is we're going to get a hammock done, kind of like the blueprint, and then we'll kind of mass produce it from there and get around 7 or 8, which is what we discussed. Additionally, the student body president and myself have been meeting with faculty members from across campus to plan collaborative events for Student Senate with colleges. And we've been working on different presentations that we can give to different colleges. So Casey, for example, gave a presentation to the School of Engineering. We've had students give presentations to the School of Business, College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, just to kind of provide more information about Student Senate and what we've been working on. There's a lot of misinformation and honestly not a lot of information about what Student Senate is and kind of what we do for the community. And so this is kind of an opportunity for us to really get ourselves out there and actively try and recruit. Additionally, I wanted to remind everyone that we do have fentanyl test strips and Narcan available in our office if anyone needs them. This is a resource that is generously provided to us from the DCCA. This is something that's also really important, especially during our opioid crisis. So if you're ever in need, no questions asked. The office should always be open for the most part. So feel free to ask and no questions about it. Lastly, the polo and t-shirt order form did close. I believe it was this Monday. So if you have ordered a polo, the invoices were sent out by our treasurer, Ethan. We're still working on getting the invoices out for the t-shirts. But yeah, you should be receiving more information soon. So please try to take care of that as soon as possible. Once we get all the payments figured out, we can actively place that order. And I anticipate we might start getting them in a bit. So yes, that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions?
Questions for the student body vice president? Any questions? Going once, going twice? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The community affairs director.
Hello, everyone. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. So last week, I asked our great chairs of each council to share like a flyer to sign up for like a student and faculty survey. And the best way to explain this is just like I'm part of a community that every semester they usually send out a survey to evaluate your course and your teachers. So this is a way to just improve the survey. And next semester they're gonna be like talking about ways how to improve it. And there's gonna be like a subcommittee for student. So it will be really great to have student involvement in it. And anybody who is interested, since I'm gonna be stepping down from my position, so anybody who is interested in getting involved with that can reach out to me. And secondly, I just want to say it's been a great fun and shout out to everybody that supported me for believing in me. Like shout out to Dana, my school mom, she's been the best, and shout out to every exec member. So that's pretty cool. So it's great. Nice to see everyone.
Are there any questions for the community affairs director? Question from the student body vice president.
What will you be doing in DC?
All right, so I got an internship. I'm going to be working with a nonprofit organization called Global Tie USA that work with the State Department and bring in international students to the United States. So
That's amazing.
Appreciate it.
The fund development director.
I don't have too many updates to give you guys. We did hire a new treasurer, so I've been working with him to kind of get him integrated into our system and get him up to speed on everything. So now I'm kind of going to be stepping away from the treasurer side of things, and he's hopefully by next semester going to be fully up and running. Exciting announcement with the Community Development Fund. So at the close of this semester, we allocated in total just under $35,000. So that's exciting. We're on track potentially to give out the most that we've ever given out. And then second thing, the Educational Opportunity Fund is a fund that I chair, and that application opened a little over a week ago. And that is a fund that is designed to give money for scholarships, fellowships, need-based aid, things of that nature. So if you guys are involved in any organizations, departments at the university, and you think that your organization or department that you study with could benefit from any of that funding, please let me know and we can work to get something in motion on that front. But that's all I've got. If anyone has any questions.
Questions for the fund development director? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much. The treasurer.
Yeah, well, hey everybody, I am the new treasurer. For those who don't know me, I was here in the last assembly meeting, but if you missed it, my name is Ethan Sloggy. I'm a junior here at KU, studying accounting and psychology, doing the Master's of Accounting through KU to get my CPA. And I'm really happy to be here, start being the treasurer. And here's what I have so far. About the polos, you ordered a polo for the Student Senate. I sent out emails, but the invoices last night. The Student Senate shirts don't have a cost yet. We'll get that figured out soon. I'll send those out pretty soon. You have more time to pay. You ordered a polo, please pay by Friday. That is the due date on the invoice. So when it comes to the Wednesday night fund, we have $28,467 is the amount left for allocations. This does not include the bills on the agenda tonight. Total amount of money for those bills is $8,501. And those all get passed tonight, then the fund will go down to just shy of 20 grand at $19,996. That would put us on the right path for funding. We're doing the rough budget of 20 grand for each cycles of the fall as a coming semester, just to keep that in mind. And then one thing to talk about, one of the bills on the table tonight, there's a bill for funding the Engineering Student Council Expo, and there may be some issues regards to the constitutionality. There's two main requirements to receive funding from Student Senate. One is that it's for a student organization, and two is that it services KU students and student activities. The Expo is helping to market the engineering field to K through 12 students, but technically it's not KU students or helping service students at KU. So there may be some issues about that constitutionality, and therefore it may not pass. But yeah, that's all I really have for that. So many questions.
Just a quick thing. So for the Expo bill, we can discuss that when we get to the bill, right?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Questions for the treasurer? In the back, yes, please. Manisha, can you please throw the catch box back?
Yeah. God.
You got it.
Really good.
Thank you.
Name and position, please.
I am Idolari Waju, student senator, member of the Finance Council. So just more clarity, I mean, he did say that we're going to talk about it when that time comes. So basically, are you saying that like because of the constitution, they would not be able to get funding for the event?
Well, I believe from when I've talked to Chris that they have received funding in the previous years for this, but like we said, the Constitution is kind of vague and the language is not very specific. There's a lot of hypocritical stuff in the articles and sections. And based on, I spent about a couple hours past week looking at the Constitution and regarding what can get funding. And they are a student org, but they are servicing K through 12 students. It is giving money and food to like help the student leaders who are running the service and running the expo. But technically, this is for marketing engineering to K through 12, not actual KU students. So therefore, it may not be constitutional based on that premise. But that's just all I have to say about that.
So how are we going?
Go ahead.
Okay, how are we going to decide if like the constitutionality of this? Like, are we going to vote
Hold
on it?
on.
Or?
I would advise that we keep this question until we get to the bill so that we can hear from the Expo people as well. Does that sound good?
Thank you.
Are there any further questions? We are out of time, so we will need an extension.
Motion to extend time by 1 minute.
Sure. Any objections to 1 minute extension? Go ahead. And then the student body vice president.
Oh, it's me?
Oh, I thought you had a question.
Oh, I do have a question.
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
For the people that aren't quite familiar with the Constitution, do you have like a general area or like a clause they can
Oh
reference?
yeah, I'm sorry. I have it right here. I believe in the budget code, it's Article 3, Section 1 about purpose of funding. And it mentions about it should be servicing KU student activities and services. That's why I thought it might bring some issues when it comes to the Constitution.
So Article 3, Section.
Article 3, Section 1, I think it's purpose and something. It's right under the budget code.
The budget code is Title 5. So Title 5, Article 3, Section 1.
Thank you.
Any further questions for the treasurer? Going once, going twice. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It is great to have the position filled again. I, last year, was fund dev and had to work with a vacant treasurer position. I can tell you, it is so much nicer to have all of the funding staff full. I'm sure Senate will work much more smoothly moving forward. Next up is the chair of the Finance Council.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'll keep this quick, but we had our first meeting for the Required Student Fee Committee last Thursday. So thank you for everyone that attended that. Fee hearings will be the first week of February, so the 3rd through the 7th. And if you have any interest in learning more what the process is like, but you aren't on the committee, you're more than welcome to either come to our hearings in person, or they will all be streamed on the Senate YouTube channel. So if you just have some free time, pop that on, learn something. If you're interested in getting a little more involved, you could be a proxy. So any of our members that can't make a hearing, you just fill in for them, take notes. If you have any interest in that, come talk to me after the meeting or email me. I'd love to give you some more information. That's about all I have. Oh, one more thing, sorry. Block and line allocation applications are now live on Rock Chalk Central. If you're interested in serving on either of those boards, feel free to reach out to me. I can give you some more information, but I'll talk more about that at our first meeting next semester.
Questions for the chair of the Finance Council? Simra. Could we please get the catch box forward?
Got it. Is membership for Block and Line exclusive to finance, or is it open to, say, rights people as well?
It's open to anyone interested in being involved.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Going once, going twice. All right, thank you very much. Great timing for mine because I think it just signed me out. All right, I will pass the meeting off to Megan. 3 minutes, please. Can you wait to start that until I log back in? This computer is annoying. It's 9 dots. That's the secret. All right. Ready? Good evening, everyone. It is great to see you at the last assembly meeting of the semester. I'm sure you all have a lot of work to do later tonight and later this week, so I'm hoping we're able to get through everything tonight with efficient and considerate discussion. I would like to call your attention to the fact that we have a lot of items of regular legislation on the agenda tonight. So we're going to do our best, but we do have to be out of here by probably no later than 9:50 because the building closes at 10 and we don't want to get in the way of the building staff. If we do not get done with all of the legislation tonight, it will be left until the spring semester, the remaining bills. So just to inform you of where we are on that. And some good news. When I was standing for my speech at the beginning of the semester, I said that my big project this semester was to create a revision to the Student Senate Constitution that we would all then discuss, and it would attempt to solve all of the contradictions and ambiguousness and problems that we've been having. That revision is now up under the general files for you to review, and I will be presenting, hopefully later tonight, maybe in the spring semester, to create a review committee for this constitutional revision so that we can have student senators and our officers involved in deciding all of the remaining issues and fine-tuning all of the provisions for eventual discussion by the legislative branch. So I'll be talking more about that later tonight, but I'm very excited. I'm very thankful for all of the officers in Student Senate who have been willing to meet with me before this to discuss the provisions relevant to their responsibilities and help me make sure everything is ready. So thank you very much.
Do you have any questions? Questions? All right, seeing none, thank you, Chris.
The Internal Affairs Director. Time?
3. All right. Hi, guys. So first, please fill out attendance. You haven't already. Additionally, we have some beverages in the back supported by the Pepsi Fund and our vice president. So you can thank them for that. And me, I guess. Technically, the agenda was amended a little bit to strike off the replacement center for education, which segues into if you know anyone in the School of Education, Pharmacy, Music, or Law, please pester them about joining Student Senate. Additionally, if you know anyone in Muslim Student Association, Asian Student Union, Asian American Student Union, thank you, First Nations Student Association, or KU Christian Challenge, please pester them about responding to my email about getting someone elected into Senate. Or if you're in that organization, ask your president to be the senator. Well, I guess, never mind, you're already in the Senate, but your buddies. And then additionally, with this new semester coming up, your 2 unexcused absence or 3 absence of any kind is reset back to 0. So if you've used any of those so far, you get, it's regenerated. Thank you.
Questions for the Internal Affairs Director. First of all, that one potential replacement senator was taken off because they no longer wanted it, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I forgot to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay, further questions? All right, going once, going twice. Thank you very much. Big round of applause for Robert. He does a ton of work up here to take the minutes. All right, we have now completed our officer reports. We will go to item 5 on our agenda, which is the appointment of replacement senators. With the one person no longer interested in serving on Student Senate, we have one potential replacement senator for tonight, Kate Eckert. Are they present? Yes, would you like to introduce yourself to Student Senate? Ivana, can you please catch box back? Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a pre-law student. I'm majoring in economics and philosophy, and I'm from Topeka, Kansas.
Is there a motion to acclimate this replacement senator? I see a motion from the Fund Development Director and a second from the Outreach Director. Are there any objections to acclimating Kate Eckert as a student senator for Liberal Arts and Sciences freshman and sophomore? Hearing none, congratulations. You are in the voting channel on Teams so you can participate in future voting polls. Speaker recognizes the Fund Development Director.
I would like to introduce a motion to move.
Could we please have the, I'm sorry.
I would like to make a motion to move bills 2025-039 and 2025-040. So those are firstly the petition to exempt KU mock trial from prohibition on travel funding. And the second is a petition to exempt the Black Student Union from prohibition on travel funding. I would like to introduce a motion to move those two regular legislation items to the consent agenda.
And could you briefly explain why?
Yes, in the interest of time, as you guys can see, there is a large list of things we need to get through. This would save us time, and neither of these bills actually allocate any money. This is simply giving the organizations the ability to argue in line funding deliberations for funding. So we're not actually allocating money of any kind. Both of these bills were approved, I believe, unanimously or close to unanimously in Finance Council. So this would just shorten our legislation and try to get through this quicker so we can get through every other bill.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
I have a question.
Sure.
Do we have representatives from both organizations here?
We definitely have the Black Student Union here and Montreal.
Oh, okay,
I spoke with them earlier.
okay. I second.
Okay. We have a motion from the Fund Development Director, second from the Student Body Vice President. Are there any objections to moving these two petitions to the consent legislation for tonight? All right, hearing none, I will have the agenda amended accordingly. Then the next item on our agenda is the consent legislation. For this, we have, hold on. We have Bill 2025-037, a bill to fund the University of Kansas Young Democratic Socialists of America. This is $117 for their upcoming Solidarity Fest. As well, we have the two petitions, a petition to exempt KU mock trial from the prohibition on funding for travel, and the petition to exempt the Black Student Union from the prohibition on funding for travel. Neither of these two petitions allocates funding. It just allows these organizations to request travel funding in our upcoming line item deliberations. Is there a motion to approve the consent legislation? I see a motion from the Fund Development Director. I see a second from the Chair of the Student Rights and Affairs Council. Is there any objection to the passage of these three pieces of legislation? Do you have an objection? Okay. The passage of the consent legislation has been objected to. Accordingly, we will have a voting poll posted in the Students' Assembly voting channel. Please fill this out quickly. This will be a 1.5-minute vote. The passage of Bill 2025-037 and petitions 2025-039 and 2025-040. So a vote yes is a vote to allocate $117 to the KU Young Democratic Socialists of America and allow KU mock trial and the Black Student Union to apply for travel funding during line item. A vote against is a vote to not allocate funding to KU Young Democratic Socialists of America, and a vote to not allow the Black Student Union or KU mock trial to apply for travel funding. Do we have a question?
That's what I was. Chat boxes, please.
Sure. Could you please pass that over?
Hi, thank you so much. So the speaker and the Fund Development Director alluded to or said that we are only consenting to them clearing the exemption. Yes, but if you look at the specifically, you said we're clearing the exemption, but no funding is necessarily assigned. But if you look at the petitions themselves for the BSU one, it does say at the tip that they have already been approved for funding. So could you just explain that? I didn't get that.
As a response, this is money that they already have. This was decided last spring. Again, this petition that we are voting on tonight would not give any additional funding to the Blackstone Union. Does that answer your question?
Well, it just clarifies that you didn't answer the question well the first time, actually. Yeah, I'm sorry.
A question from the Fund Development Director?
I can provide a point of clarification here. I've worked with the BSU on getting this legislation on the agenda. So this is due to some sort of mismanagement or clerical error last year during the line allocation deliberation process. So this petition has nothing to do with the money. This is just giving them access to money that they already argued for in line deliberations last year. And the line committee agreed that this was funding that they should be approved for, and it is allocated to them in our budget. This petition is simply almost a order of parliamentary procedure to make sure we are following the new travel legislation that NOAA presented in cycle 1 of the semester with his new petition process through Finance Council and then the General Assembly process.
Okay, we can't spend time here. Are you withdrawing your objection? You are withdrawing the objection. Are there any further objections to the passage of the consent legislation? Okay, hearing none. 1 second. Bill 2025-037, Petition 2025-039, and Petition 2025-040 are passed. Thank you very much. The voting poll that was previously posted is now moot. Sorry. We will now move on to our regular legislation for tonight. First up is Bill 2025-032, a bill to fund the Asian Classical Music Initiative in an amount of $3,000 as amended by the Finance Council. Do we have a representative from this organization present tonight? Do you have a presentation? Yes. Okay. Does your laptop have HDMI?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. You can plug in here and then.
Yes.
Is it ready to go now?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. Let's switch this over to HDMI and please work. Maybe back HDMI. If the HDMI doesn't work, I'll just have you send it to my email and then I'll
okay.
pull it up on the podium.
Okay, maybe
Does
now.
that work for you?
Yes.
Okay, please send it to senatespeaker@ku.edu.
Okay, let me see. Or maybe the next one can do first, and I will.
Do you want to give up your spot to Expo? We can have you after Expo if you want time to pull it up.
Yeah, or maybe the next one can do first, and then I can go to the second one.
Yeah, that would mean putting Expo here.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
okay.
okay.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay, and then send it to senatespeaker@ku.edu.
Okay.
What are we doing? I actually.
Without objection, the agenda is amended to place Bill 2025-036 ahead of 2025-032 in regular legislation. The Asian Classical Music Initiative consents to this amendment. Is there any objection? All right, hearing none, we will hear 2025-036, a bill to fund the Engineering Student Council Expo, an amount of $2,501 as amended by the Finance Council. Sorry, they had trouble pulling up the presentation, so they're going next. Do you have an HDMI? Okay, sweet. Go ahead and plug yourself in. If there's an issue, I'll have you email it to me.
No.
So you don't mind? Thank you. I will not.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Yes, great. How much time? Is 15 minutes fine? That includes questions.
Hey, Chris, could we get a point of clarification as to why it was amended?
They had trouble pulling their presentation up. They're sending it to my email. We're letting them go
Okay,
first.
that's fine.
Well,
The representative from the Engineering Student Council is recognized for 15 minutes.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Drake Geeler. I'm the finance chair for the Expo team of the Engineering Student Council. I'll be presenting the fund request for Engineering Shaman Expo of 2025. So for those that weren't here, I didn't present to last week. Expo is the largest community outreach event in the School of Engineering, which provides STEM-focused activities to over 2,000 students within the Kansas City area. And then basically each student organization this year, about 35 organizations will host an activity, demonstration, or competition, which these members of the community will come out and participate in, and then it gives exposure to engineering and opportunities at KU. This year's theme is engineering enchantment, or fairy tale or storybook, basically fantasy. And then the slogan is where imagination meets imagination or innovation. So it'll be held on February 23rd and February 24th. And a point of clarification for the constitutionality of this bill. While February 24th on the Monday is only open to K through 12 students, mainly because there are over 2,000 students coming to this event, so you can't really have the space for other members of the community come in. Sunday is fully open to the community, which includes anyone from the community, KU students, and other members, but anyone can come basically. So I'm requesting, after the amendment of the finance bill, $2,501 now. So I'll go into the why, but it's based on prior years. We've done this consistent accurate estimate for food situation. And again, the students estimated range from about 2,000 to 2,500. And then now the funding will just be used for food to fund the volunteers. So the overall budget, there's $14,800, which are or 700 that go already funded from the School of Engineering, and then in the addition, one is from Senate, so it is a marginal amount compared to the total budget, and that is only because FAC does not allow us to use it for food, so that's the only reason why. I'll go into the food. So this is essential, basically, that we have over 35 clubs alone volunteering, which will have a minimum of 3 or more volunteers, which will, including the student council members that'll be volunteering all day, Sunday, Monday, and even Saturday as well, brings it to upwards of 143 volunteers, which is why this is necessary. And then obviously this was amended off there, but here's the flyer, and then if you want to look at it, and then we'll open up to questions.
Do you still want to explain? Okay. We're going to take a brief redirection. The chair of the Finance Council is recognized to explain the amount that was reached in those deliberations.
Yes, so we amended this down from the 3,200 to 2,501, and so that $700 was on account of the tables that were part of their budget. The vice chair of Finance Council gave them some recommendations on obtaining tables for either reduced or free. And so that is how we amended that bill.
Thank you very much. We will resume the speaker's time for questions. Remaining is 12 minutes, 14 seconds. Question from the student body vice president.
I had a question of clarification for the chair of finance. I thought it was 2,500 flat. What was the 2,501?
It was, the number was like.
It was $2,592.
So we just rounded it
Rounded
up to
up, okay.
$1.
Okay, got it.
And then we had a question from the fund development director. Could you please pass that back? Thank you.
So I'll provide like just a little background on my question before I actually ask it. So in title, or as Ethan, the treasurer, said in his officer report, in Title 5, Article 3, Section 1, in our funding regulations code in the Constitution, quote, funds allocated by the Student Senate shall be used for the purpose of supporting student activities and services, end quote. And so then going to your guys' website for the Engineering Expo on the School of Engineering website page, quote, Expo is a student-run engineering fair for the local community, elementary schools, and middle schools, end quote. So with that being said, I was wondering if you guys could provide clarification on how students, enrolled KU students, are benefiting from this operation you guys are running, as in the very definition that you all provided, KU students are not mentioned in a group of people that this engineering fair is for.
Second, so I don't really have control over the website, but basically, our largest portion of the event is on Monday, which is targeted towards those specifically mentioned students in the elementary, middles, and high schools. But as I said prior, Sunday is open to the entire community, which includes, K students are part of the local community, so I would incorporate them and plus everyone else in Lawrence as a part of that. I don't see, it's not like specifically targeted towards any that Sunday date, but anyone can participate without any restriction.
Chair of the Student Rights and Affairs Council.
Is the funding that we're giving you, like the food, is specifically for the organizations, volunteers that are working it, or is it for the kids that are going to be coming to the expo?
It is for the volunteers. Obviously, if we provided food for the 2,000 plus students, it'd be an astronomically higher number.
Can I follow up?
Please pass it back. Do you have a question?
Sorry.
Would you say because volunteering is a very big part of student engineering student organizations that this event is in turn like supporting student activities?
I would definitely say so. I mean, we obviously love to gear the students' activities or student groups' activities towards what they do in their organization. So they're actually like communicating what they're doing in their organization and letting like new people know about what they do in the organization. That's is directly benefiting these organizations as well.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Can you please pass it up here?
My question kind of builds off of yours. It's kind of a question for the directors here of finance. It's talking about, it directly stated from the article, funds allocated by the Student Senate shall be used for the purpose of supporting student activities and service. I feel like I don't understand why the clarity would be questioned when the money is only going to support KU students in the activity that they are putting on. Even though it's directed towards middle school students, it's still like, I feel like
Is this a
outreach
question for the presenter or is
can
this a statement?
It can. I'm asking a clarity on the question of.
Is this a question for the presenter?
Can it be a question to someone else, or does it have to be to the presenter?
I think it was to you, Chris.
It was to you or any other funding director.
I'll take it as a parliamentary inquiry. Are you asking why, if this is to these students, why it doesn't count as a student service?
Yeah.
I would need to discuss further with the advisors and the student body president to determine this.
Okay.
And moving on, yep, student body vice president.
Okay, I have two questions. I'm going to kind of clarify that up front. So you kind of established that the funding that you are requesting for Expo is primarily for like food for the volunteers, right?
Yes.
Who are the volunteers and why are they supporting this event? And also, what are they doing for this event?
For the first question, the volunteers that the food is going to support is entirely for KU students.
Okay.
Those are the entirety of who is volunteering that the food is going towards. Secondly, what they're doing, basically they're all day Saturday is spent for setting up that they have to volunteer for, and then Sunday and Monday they're also volunteering basically the entire day. And so that is quite a bit of time that they're expected to be coming and volunteering and like to participate in this outreach event, which I cannot in like good conscience say force people to come here and spend their time to put on this event and not give them an incentive or like support to actually carry out their duties.
And I had two parts. And kind of just to clarify, why are these student organizations doing like activities for Expo? What do they get out of that? Why are they volunteering?
I mean, there's two parts to this. Part of it is just that a lot of these student organizations like to volunteer and get their name out. I mean, it gets obviously current KU students.
We're moving quickly tonight. Sorry that you got involved with the rushing. So it appears the internet connection is being slow, but there you are. Let's open this in a new tab for you. That way you can be. Does this work? Yes, I did put the update one. Okay.
Thank you.
And then why is the projector off? Oh, I see. Set back to podium PC and thank God.
Okay.
Ready to start when you are.
Hi.
Order, please. Please give respect to our presenter.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan Laurie, and I'm the president of the Asian Classical Music Initiate. I will try to do this presentation shorter. ACMI is including AIP AAPI musical traditions, Western classical work influenced by AAPI, and also personal expression by AAPI composer. We also including the cross-cultural fusion and someone who want to seek in the artistic expression beyond the cultural labels. So why please support us because we are reliable. So we made the first American International Conference dedicated to the Asian classical music, and also we keep corrupting with the leading AAPI musician, including the prize finalists and some Steinway artists or Grammy winner, and from Julia, from Eastman, those kind of high esteem school, and also because our hardworking, so the White House just recognize us as an organization leader of AAPI. Yeah, so this is the photo to prove our activities. Those are part of guest artists. And yeah, we are not only working on the classical composer, we're also working on the film area, also the cross-cultural area. So this is our news report. So this is the opening concert from 2021. That time Student Senate also support our activities. Thank you. And so 2022, we make the first conference on Asian classical music in America. And that time more than 70, around 80 presenters from Eastman, Northwestern, Julia, many other high esteem institution. And there's some picture of the conference. So we also try to make competition and set up a special AAPI award to promote AIP composers. And also we are doing the commission work collection, try to break the stereotype of AAPI musician. And also we make some activities. Yeah, this is the music event happening in the Lee Center. So on 2023, we try to make some different. We bring this concept to New York and work with RU, Rutgers University. So this is the conference. Also, it's more than 80 presenters to join, around 80, not more than. Sorry. And also we make the piano masterclass series. And 2024, we try to do something interdiscipline fusion. This year we cooperate with film elements, so we also do a commission work. Is inspired one of Asian immigrant culture, Cantonese opera. So I am the performance. And also this year we bring the conference to LA, and this time more international style musicians just come to join. They from Australia, Canada, and China, Hong Kong area. So for us, we don't want to just block this concept at Kansas. We try to utilize the individual and explain influence for the global. And also because in classical music area, actually Eastern and Western always inspire each other. So we know the pioneer classical composer John Cage. His pioneer thought actually is from China philosophy. So, and also Asian classical music is based on the Western root. So we also want to be as a symbol to united Eastern and Western culture, and also cultivate an appreciation for multicultural music. So what will be the next is the so I also update some information is we will collaborate with the CMS, an organization which is established in 1958, also have 7,000 global members, and they're focused on the interdisciplinary connection between music education and humanities. We will co-hold a conference for next year, and we think we can utilize the CMS Global Academic Network and enhance the global visibility of the KUACMI. So this is the PowerPoint to answer the last time one of member to ask what will be the benefit for the KU student. So of course, for the musician, it's good for their academic and professional growth. And this conference is open to everyone at KU. So I think music activity is not only give inspiration for musician, also give inspiration for maybe other major students, just like Einstein, the famous example. He always got inspiration from music and to solve his science problem. And also music can make people just have some relaxed time. And also, I think the AAPI musical expression and method also maybe can give some inspiration. And also, I think this activity is not only benefit the student now, also benefit for the student later in the future. Yeah, because in the classical music area, our curriculum still based on the Western framework. Yeah, so I think this activity can support the American music course to moving beyond to like a global framework. And I think also our activity also fit the KU mission, just discover something and then to change the world. And now is the time to discover something. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, our funding request is for the free honorarium for the guest artist. It's quite simple. Yeah, just like that. Thank you for listening.
Questions for the presenter? Question from the student body vice president.
Yep.
Catch box, come on. Thank you.
In general, about how many students or community members come to this event?
The first time is the first conference because the first conference happened at KU. I think I remember the concert hall is full, and also and the concert hall seat is around 150, and someone just stand on the door side. So I think it's around 150.
In the concert halls.
Yeah, it just not Lee Center is KU School of Music. It's the sweater. Yeah, yes, in the Murphy Hall. Also, we have some classroom. Yeah, but the people always moving, so I'm not sure. Yeah, the presenter is around 80. Yeah.
The fund development director.
I would just like to provide a quick point of information. In the last cycle of the Community Development Fund, we allocated this organization $4,000, and the breakdown of that was for four $1,000 guest artist honorariums. Can I introduce a motion?
Yes, but I'll hold it pending until time expires.
Okay, with that being said, I would like to motion to amend this bill to $2,000, the entirety of which would be spent on the line item in their budget for the keynote speaker.
Is there a second? Second from the Vice Chair of the Community Affairs Council. Motion is held pending for the expiration of speaker's time. Are there any further questions for our speaker? Vice Chair of the Student Rights and Affairs Council.
And so I just wanted a quick point of clarification. You said that we were only paying for your honorarium, but I mean, if I'm looking at the bill correctly, it looks like we're paying for the keynote speaker honorarium and the refreshments. But I guess now with this motion, it would just be for.
Please make sure that you're looking at the amended version. I had
Okay.
the link wrong. I corrected it. It should
Got
just be $3,000 for honorariums.
Okay, thank you.
Chris, could you please put the amended version of the bill up?
Absolutely. Would you mind if I pulled up the legislation?
Yeah.
Sorry to get in front of you. ACMI. Give this a refresh too. Come on. This is the correct version. It is $3,000. It is for 3 guest artist honorariums, $1,000 each, totaling to $3,000. This is the amended bill. I apologize for my mistake.
Chris, do you mind scrolling down just to the budget part, please?
Oh, certainly. Could you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I also want to try to request, is it possible to do one guest artist honorarium and one keynote speaker honorarium? Because keynote speaker is, I asked, is quite expensive. So, yes.
Just a clarification. So you're wanting it to stay $3,000 instead of going
Yes.
down to $2,000? Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Further questions? No, we'll head back to the fund development director.
Okay, this is for you. So are you saying that you want the, like in the amended version of the bill, do you want it to be $3,000, $2,000 for the keynote speaker, and $1,000 for one guest artist honorarium? Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
So the allocation amount would stay the same. Okay, are there any further questions? All right, if there are no further questions, just as a point of clarification, as long as the allocation amount is $3,000, I don't believe an amendment is necessary. So, wait, I do believe we have a further question in the back there. Could we please, sir, could you please cast the catch box back? Coming at you from the front.
My name is Jack Rost. I'm the Business School Senator representative. Question for fund and treasurer. How much money have we spent so far this semester, and what do we have allocated for next? I can't remember what it is.
Point of information. So at the beginning, Ethan mentioned in his officer report, for the rest of the entire academic year, we had just over $28,000. I think it was about $28,300. And so then if we included the $2,501 that we allocated to the engineering expo, that would put us at about 25,500 or so, somewhere in that range for the rest of the year.
Thank you.
The student body vice president. Ham, can we please get the catch box up? Thank you.
Thank you. Since we don't have an amended motion, I would like to make a motion to vote.
We have a motion to vote. We have a motion to vote from the student body vice president, second from the vice chair of the Student Rights and Affairs Council. Are there any objections to proceeding to a vote? Ayo, is that an objection? Very quickly, yes.
Are we just ignoring his motion to bring it down to 2,000 or no?
I believe Hamp, do you no longer intend, the fund development director no longer intends to make a motion to amend this legislation.
No, I don't resend my motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. You are still moving for $2,000. My mistake. I thought you were rescinding that. Okay, so are you also rescinding your motion to vote? Because we have not started on the motion to amend yet.
No.
Okay, so you still want to vote on $3,000?
Yep.
Okay, and are you still seconding for voting on $3,000? Is there an objection to proceeding to vote on $3,000?
I have a parliamentary question.
Sure.
If I motion to amend and then my motion was seconded, there was no objection, then we were waiting until we postponed it to the end of the discussion. Would my motion proceed any second?
Motion to vote takes precedent over everything. So are you objecting to the motion to vote? Okay. In that case, we have a motion to end discussion and vote on the passage of the bill at $3,000. So we will have a voting poll posted for this shortly. To explain where we are at parliamentarily, we have a motion from the student body vice president. This motion would end discussion. We would then give a yes or no vote on $3,000. If you vote no on this motion, we will proceed to continue discussing the bill, and we could consider the fund development director's motion to amend the bill to $2,000. So yes here is $3,000, no here, we could consider $2,000. Does anyone have any further questions before we have the poll posted?
Can I have a question for the speaker?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we still have 10 seconds left.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. 10-second question.
Okay.
Just to if you could summarize what this event is in like 5 words or like a really brief sentence, like what is the service that is offered with this event?
You
The
need
ACMI conference.
service,
Yeah, what is the ACMI conference? Like what is the purpose of it?
understanding.
Understanding.
Discover.
Okay.
Using the 5 words, girl.
Ooh, period.
5 words.
There we go. Okay. Understanding and discovery of what?
Oh, I need to use 5 words.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Course.
This is too specific. I apologize.
It's all good. Again, we will have the poll posted shortly. Okay, the poll is posted now. This will be a minute and a half vote. Again, if you have voting rights in the assembly, you should be able to access the voting channel on Teams. If you can access the voting channel on Teams, please open the poll and cast your votes. If you don't feel strongly either way, cast an abstention vote. We still need to count it. You have now a minute and 15 seconds to vote. If you are having trouble accessing the poll, please come to the front. Robert and I will assist you so that you can cast your vote. Are there any questions about the parliamentary situation? Question from Joel. Can we please get the catch box passed back?
Of course.
When we have an objection to vote, when we have an objection to vote, why doesn't an objection to vote necessarily come with a chance for the person who objects to vote?
A motion to vote is non-debatable per Robert's Rules of Order
But
because it is specifically to end all discussion and immediately proceed to voting. It
Got
would be
it.
nonsensical if we could discuss it.
No, but I'm saying the person who raises the objection, when you, I don't know if the word is accept, but when you acknowledge, perfect. When you acknowledge the objection to vote.
If that person wants to provide a brief explanation for an objection, they can. It can't run to the length of a speech, though.
Got
In
it.
this case, that person did not provide additional explanation.
Okay, my question is, at what point is the person meant to offer that clarification? Because with my case, with the objection to vote, and with his case, with the objection to vote, immediately you acknowledge the objection to vote, you go straight into, okay, now we're going to vote on the objection to vote. So if there is an option for people to talk about why they're objecting, you should flag that and give them.
Immediately upon being recognized.
Yeah, but I'm
for the
saying
objection.
you should tell them
Okay,
they have
the
chance to
voting
do
poll
that
is
right
now
after.
closed. Sorry, the minute and 30 seconds is up. Okay. Oh, that's less than 2/3. Okay. On the motion to vote on Bill 2025-032, in favor 17, opposed 12, abstaining 3. Accordingly, there is less than 2/3 in favor of ending discussion. We will continue discussion. The Fund Development Director.
I would just like to return to my proposed amendment.
Yes. It has been moved to amend this bill down to an allocation amount of $2,000. Is there a second? I hear a second from the chair of the Finance Council. Are there any objections to amending this bill to an amount of $2,000? Objection from the, no? Okay. Hold on. Are there any objections? Again, $2,000 allocation amount of this bill. Is there an objection in the back? Okay, would you like to provide an explanation? Okay, please pass the box back to Courtney.
Hi, I think the amount is perfectly fair. I think we've given more to other organizations. I think they've asked politely that we don't decrease this, and I think they are justified in what they're asking for. I think it would be unfair to decrease this bill.
Okay, there has been a motion to amend, a second, and now an objection. We will have the voting poll for this posted shortly. Yes.
Point of information, I don't believe we have allocated more than $3,000 to any bill. So,
Is that
would you like
correct?
to I guess I can't say that.
Is that correct? Yep. I honestly don't remember.
I think right now the highest bill that's been allocated is 2,500. I believe. Yeah, I think it's 2,500.
Okay.
I don't think Courtney was talking about tonight alone. I think they were saying in general, Student Senate has given like $5,000-$6,000 to
Okay. Is there a question from AO?
Is that true?
Hold on. We have a question from AO. Please pass the catch box over. Discussion will remain orderly.
So that was a positive statement. Can I make a negative statement real quick?
On the objection, no, we are just voting. Again, the motion is now to amend this bill to an amount of $2,000. There was an objection to unanimous consent, so we will now vote on whether to amend it to $2,000. Very briefly, yes. Do you have the catch box? Courtney, can you pass the catch box up?
I just wanted to reiterate that this $2,000 would be in addition to the $4,000 that they already received from the Community Development Fund. So that money is all coming, like, if you look at it from the aggregate sense, that's all coming out of the student fee, the $522 that everyone pays. So at the end of the day, out of that student fee, this is still giving them $6,000. So if we're looking at, I mean, you said the word fair. I don't really know how we gauge what is fair, as that's very subjective. But I think that needs to be considered, that we also have given them $4,000 out of essentially the same revenue item.
Please make sure that points of information do not verge into opinion. Samuel, did you have an additional question?
Question for the treasurer or the fund development director: is the president's statement that we allocate $5,000 or $6,000 to student organizations from Wednesday night funding factually accurate?
I would need to have her reiterate that statement. I'm not sure.
I can answer that. In previous years, yes, we have allocated more than $3,000 to student organizations. Of course, those previous years did not have our current financial circumstances. No further questions on that. I believe the voting poll is now up for the amendment. Okay. If you have access to the voting channel, you have voting rights. Please fill out this voting poll. A vote in favor is a vote to limit this funding bill to $2,000. A vote opposed is a vote to keep this funding bill at $3,000. This motion takes a majority vote for adoption. This will be a 1.5-minute vote.
Can I
You can feel free to sit down, yes. Or did you have a question?
Yes, I have something I want to explain more.
Oh,
Yeah, is it possible?
I mean, we have the voting poll.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I wanna mention about, so even you guys see the bill are all just the honorarium, but actually the guest artist is really hard just be one, because sometimes for music activities need to be a group. Or so even we got some honorarium, but actually is quite limited. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Again, please fill out the voting poll if you can. There are 45 seconds remaining. If anyone is having trouble accessing the poll, please come to the front. We will check your access and make sure you can fill it out. Otherwise, again, if you can vote, please do so.
Parliamentary inquiry, what exactly are people voting on right now? To amend it to $2,000?
Yes, as I explained, a vote in favor is a vote to limit this funding bill to $2,000. A vote opposed is a vote to keep this funding bill at $3,000. This motion takes a majority vote for adoption, so half.
We just I was just telling that to Megan.
Okay. Did you close it?
Close.
Oh, you're doing it on your phone now? That's cool.
That way I don't.
Yeah, fair.
Did it close?
Yeah, it did. Okay. Oh. Okay. The poll is now closed. Again, this was the motion to amend Bill 2025-032 to $2,000. In favor, 13, opposed, 15, abstaining, 3. Accordingly, there is less than majority in favor. The amendment is not adopted. The funding bill remains at $3,000. Are there further motions, such as a motion to vote? I see a motion to vote. Is that Jamal? Is that Jamal Douglas? Douglas Jamal. I'm sorry. I can't see you very well back there. Okay, I hear a motion to vote from the Community Student Senator for the Black Student Union. Is there a second on voting? I see a second on voting from the Student Body Vice President. Ham, thank you. Okay, there's been a motion and a second to end discussion and proceed to a vote on Bill 2025-032. Are there any objections? All right, hearing none, we will proceed to vote on Bill 2025-032. For clarification, we are now voting on passage of this bill. This is the final vote on this bill. A vote in favor is a vote to allocate $3,000 to the Asian Classical Music Initiative. A vote opposed is a vote to allocate no money to the Asian Classical Music Initiative. This bill takes a majority vote for passage. Ivana. Oh, God. High-powered rocketry, community student senator seat, unused Senate funded items, Constitutional Review Committee reassessment of dual employment. Yes. 10 minutes because you're going to have questions. As much as I want it to be fast. All right, it's up for you. But please, yes. I love professionalism. Okay. We have a representative from the Minority and Pre-Law Association to present this legislation. Manna Simmons is recognized for 10 minutes.
Okay, hello, my name is Manna Simmons. I'm the president of Minority and Pre-Law Association. We recently were founded this last February. And I'm here to present a bill to add a seat, a student senate, add a community senator seat to the Constitution for Minority and Pre-Law. We have some members who are interested in joining Senate and making a voice for students on campus, as well as our organization already. And so we thought it'd be great for our organization to have a seat so where we can fill it each year or semester, so we can have students come in and represent Minority and Pre-Law Association. And background on our association, we're basically founded to help pre-law students find opportunities, scholarships, fellowships to expand or help them on their law journey. And yeah, I'm gonna keep it short, but if you have any questions, you can ask me.
I honestly did not expect that presentation to be over so quickly. We have a question from AO in the back. Manisha, can you please pass the box back?
Motion to vote.
Whoa. Second, I have a question.
Are you withdrawing your motion so that there can be questions? It does. Are you withdrawing or
Can she
not?
ask a question real quick? And then
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Is the proposed senator here in the assembly today?
He wasn't able to make it today, but he was last week at councils.
Awesome, thank you.
The Internal Affairs Director also has a question.
Okay. Do you have any members, people in the School of Pharmacy in your organization?
No, not that I know of. But anyone's welcome to join, yeah.
Are you repeating your motion to vote?
Yeah, motion to
Is
vote.
there a second? I see a second. Student Body Vice President. Okay. Are there any objections to ending discussion on Bill 2025-034 and proceeding to a vote? No objections? Going once, going twice? Okay, we will, everyone, please. Please, okay. We will have the poll posted shortly. Oh, thank you, Robert. Okay, this will be a 1.5-minute vote. Please, okay. A vote in favor of this legislation is a vote to create a community student senator seat for the Minority and Pre-Law Association. This would allow the organization to appoint one student senator to represent their interests and exercise voting rights in the student councils and students' assembly. A vote opposed is a vote to create no additional community student senator seats. This bill requires a 2/3 vote for passage. Are there any questions about the procedure? He gone.
So we have 91 total seats with about a dozen community seats. And by a dozen, I mean
19.
19.
19 minus 6, so that's 13.
Okay, so 13 out of 19
Are
community
filled.
senator seats are filled.
Yep. Mhm.
Robert, I would like to ask Brent.
say more. Okay.
Everyone, voting is now closed. The question is on passage of Bill 2025-034, a bill to provide a community student senator seat for the Minority and Pre-Law Association. In favor, 28, opposed, 0, abstaining, 3. Accordingly, the bill is passed. Next on regular legislation is Bill 2025-035, a bill to return unused Senate-funded items to the Student Senate Program Coordinator for repurpose. This will be presented by the Student Body Vice President and the Internal Affairs Director. Megan, are you all right to take the minutes? Sweet. Are you just presenting off of your bill?
We
Do you
can.
have it? I don't
Yeah.
have it in our files.
Last cycle. Hold on.
I don't believe I have it. There is an HDMI. Oh, we can't use Roberts. Roberts is currently for the minutes. Hey!
Yeah, let's not leave it alone.
There's a button here. It says display mute. You press it to mute the display when you're showing my emails. After this, Constitutional Review Committee. I mean, do you want me to present that or are you going first? Okay.
This is.
I would love to get the review committee.
I know, I want to do this.
Hmm.
I could have sworn I said that you were gonna be my
Hold on.
I'm
There's
just
nothing
in my
I'm
email,
resharing.
and I'm just emailing my professors. It's not my personal email.
Forward.
Be mad about that being shown. Did my leg just buzz
Go,
because
go,
someone
go,
sent
go,
me a
go.
message?
I resent it. Yvonne, did you want? Are we doing? I already resent it. It goes through to the what?
I have it. I have the presentation now.
Or you, and you.
I'll just go straight to the process. That's okay, unless you want to talk to me.
That's fine. I was
Yeah,
just gonna
we
stay with
can
the
try
person
the
as it. I was gonna keep it. Yeah, I can get 3 minutes.
Unmute the
Okay, if you want to
display.
amend it, I just want to run through the process.
Communicate the
Talk
press.
about the changes and then I'll go through the process.
10 minutes fine for you?
No.
Let's do 3.
Five.
There needs to be time for questions.
Okay.
Just five.
Make it go.
Ready when? Give me the thumbs up.
Hold on one second. Everyone, please give your attention and respect to our presenters. The Student Body Vice President and Internal Affairs Director are recognized for 10 minutes.
Okay, what is this bill? 5 minutes. What is this bill? We're taking items that we fund that are unused or are reusable, and we're putting them in the Student Senate Shared Resource Closet so that clubs can check them out, so that we aren't buying the same things year after year. Boom. All right, we don't care about this. Constitutionality, blah blah blah. Okay, so some amendments were made from last time. We added J here, enforcement, so that it's also in the Constitution. That according to these sections, which are the sections saying that the fund development director and the treasurer on the funding applications, they get 2 tickets to whatever the student organization's event is, so that they can come there and view it and check it out and make sure that these funds are being allocated properly. It's going to be the responsibility of these positions to alert student senators in councils or assembly if these organizations are not returning their items they're receiving to us. Also, we changed the responsibility from pinning it as a shared thing from the program coordinator staff and explicitly saying the exact members of the community affairs director and student vice president for whoever is responsible for it.
Okay, just a general overview of the process. So essentially, the whole purpose behind this resolution is essentially just to repurpose the items that we have. We are buying a lot of the same items that we do over and over and over again, and there's also no accountability for student organizations to just ask for the same things again. There's no reusing, recycling, reducing, and as a sustainable environment and a sustainable campus, this is something that we really need to do. So everything essentially is the same with applying for funding. We have a whole process outline that we presented to both of the councils at our last meeting. And we are also putting all the inventory sheets. It's going to be publicly accessible for everyone to have access to. So in case you do want to borrow an item in Student Senate's inventory, you can just reach out through the appropriate means of communication to have access to this item. And so we do actually have a closet. This is actually the inventory sheet. It's readily accessible in the Teams, but like we discussed in the councils last week, we're going to make this publicly accessible so that everyone has access to this. Also, After the organization has their event, they are required to return all items. And so this is kind of the preliminary look of that shelf that we have. Since then, a lot more things have been added because I was actually able to update the inventory that we had from years past. Because again, this resolution was passed and actually implemented into the Constitution, but due to poor record keeping, we are no longer able to find it. Hence the reason why this bill needed to be rewritten. And also kind of why we have some items already in our possession. So now we have an inventory log, we have a place to keep it, and Robert and I have been able to talk to all the stakeholders for this legislation and whom this involves, and everyone is on board. Any questions? I'm sorry.
So, Robert, the amendment, the portions you're adding on are not currently in there. You do have to move those.
Oh, yes. It's I have like
you
the
want to do
draft right.
questions first, or?
Let's do questions first.
Okay. Questions for the presenters? Yes. Please get Catchbox up. You got this. Nice save.
In the amendment for the enforcement, is it just unused items or is it unused and or unperishable or non-perishable items?
Unused and reusable is the word.
It does say reusable in the
Yes.
enforcement. Okay, because it.
It's not in the enforcement. It's in
In the actual legislation, it's written.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure that was.
Yes.
Questions?
Sorry, further another spot in the Constitution. So I didn't.
Further questions. I see one from the back from AO. Hold your horses. We do have an amendment from the authors. Can you rescind? Okay. Let's do the amendment now, okay?
Okay.
Here,
Motion
can I
to
pull-
amend,
can I pull it up again?
please
It's in
do.
the team's files.
So to be clear, this amendment is what I was discussing in my portion of the presentation. It's not super substantial. It's just like more clearly outlining what is going on here.
Would it be fair to say that it's based on the feedback you received?
Oh
while
yes,
presenting to
that is exactly what it is. That's why we did it. Also, even if this doesn't pass, it's already on the Student Senate website funding guide that to have the inventory sheet for clubs to check out.
So I think, give it a second to load. This thing's slow. Okay. So amendments by the Students' Assembly shown in red, and then events and projects, or reusable purchases, and then this. Is that correct?
Mhm. Yes.
And can you take some time to explain your amendments? So motion to amend by the Internal Affairs Director. Is there a second? Second from the Chair of the Finance Council. Please go ahead and explain it.
Okay, we're just more clearly stating how this can be enforced in the Constitution, and then also adding in the word reusable, which is in the Constitution in their spot. And then also real quick up here, just taking away that word special, because then it kind of makes it seem like it's only for special events, and that's not how the rest of these subsections are applied to.
Like the speaker kind of mentioned, most of these changes and amendments were based on the feedback that we got when presenting to council. So we wanted to make sure that everyone understood what we were actually proposing.
And to be clear, the parts that are being amended from the version presented in councils are the parts in red. Are there any questions for the presenters? Okay, we had a motion to amend by the Internal Affairs Director, a second from the Chair of the Finance Council. Are there any objections to the amendments shown in red on the legislation? If you have not had the time to read these, they are also under the legislation folder in the Students' Assembly channel. Is there any objection? Okay. Accordingly, these amendments are made to the legislation. The question is now on the bill as amended. Are there any further questions for the presenters? Motion to vote from the Vice Chair of the Community Affairs Council. I'm seeing a second from the Vice Chair of the Student Rights and Affairs Council. Are there any objections to voting on Bill 2025-035? Hearing none, we will get that poll posted shortly.
I had a parliamentary question. If if it's a bill, can we just move to approve it? And then if there's no objections, it gets approved, or does it have to be voted on each time?
It is the tradition of Senate that we have a roll call vote on the passage of all legislation.
Okay. So you couldn't just say move to approve it, and then if there's no objections, you just go with it?
I can do that for other motions, not for the passage. I don't believe so.
First, I do want to point out, I thought it was really cool that we have a rocket company, like Chris's special parts on the budget.
Chris's rocket parts. I need to have a side hustle. This job pays $10 an hour. Can't afford rent here. 10.50.
You get paid? Is it
Is
full?
that
Wait.
Is that minimum wage? Okay, everyone. The poll is now posted. The question is on the passage of Bill 2025-035, a bill to return unused Senate-funded items to the Student Senate Program Coordinator for repurpose. A vote in favor is a vote to add these provisions into the Student Senate Constitution and require them for student organizations. A vote opposed is a vote to make no changes to the Student Senate Constitution. This bill requires a 2/3 vote for passage. This will be a 1.5-minute vote. In the bill? Where?
Shared resource payment.
Yeah. Except for the Constitution.
I need to show you how we tried to spell business council in one of our
the ways he's misspelled it this year? I know, but I'm just like.
Oh, yeah. My handwriting is- correctly, like 13.
13?
Incorrectly.
Simmer was like, he's a typing speed of like 19 years.
Yeah, incorrectly, like 120. Yeah.
You can hear the typing now.
Yeah. Hey. Who else is doing like 26 pages? That's awesome.
26?
Under 37, 100% accurate.
Is my name under 37?
I spelled it right. BIWA.
I played Minecraft a lot when I was a child. Usually when it was things with BIS, so I just do that.
You were trash talking them.
Did you ever get kicked out of?
Are we good to move on? Yeah, 10 seconds. Well, I mean, it's 30, so.
We'll get your bill.
You really should.
Nobody
Okay. Everyone, the poll is now closed. On the passage of Bill 2025-035, in favor 28, opposed 0, abstaining 0. Accordingly, this bill is passed. We will proceed to Bill 2025-041, a bill to create a constitutional review committee. I will be presenting this, so I will relinquish the chair to the chair of the Finance Council. Oh, sorry. I'll give you the gavel. Can I please have 10 minutes, including questions?
Yep. Whenever you're ready.
So, everyone, I talked during my officer report about how the constitutional revision is now open for comment. And we wanted to create a review committee to provide a formal structure for the review of this revision, to make sure that all of the disputes that have arisen during my discussion with our officers are settled and that all provisions are finely tuned before it goes up to a vote in councils. So this bill would create a constitutional review committee. It wouldn't do anything on the revision now. It would just provide a structure for us to review it moving forward. I've discussed the revision with the Internal Affairs Director, the chairs of the Student Council, Student Body President, Student Body Vice President, Graduate Student Body President, Fund Development Director, Treasurer being vacant at the time, members of the Election Commission. Each officer of Student Senate has also had the chance to review the provisions relevant to their duties, and is also been shared with the advisors to Student Senate. If this legislation was enacted, the review committee would proceed to hold meetings and discussions in spring 2025 to resolve remaining issues with the revision and ensure that all provisions are ready for consideration by the legislative branch. The review committee could also decide to not proceed with the revision if it feels that it is not in good form to be considered by the legislative branch. The voting members of this would be the chair of the Student Rights and Affairs Council as the chair of the review committee, as the Student Rights and Affairs Council is the council primarily responsible for reviewing constitutional amendments. Additional voting members would be the Speaker, the chairs of the other two councils, the Student Body President, the Chair of the Elections Commission, one Student Senator elected by the Finance Council, one Student Senator elected by the Community Affairs Council, two Student Senators elected by the Student Rights and Affairs Council, again, because that council is responsible for reviewing all constitutional amendments, and one Student Senator elected by the Students' Assembly, who must be a graduate student to ensure graduate representation. Non-voting members would be the Internal Affairs Director, Student Body Vice President, Graduate Student Body President, who would be voting if no graduate student is elected by the Assembly. So there has to be at least one graduate student who can vote on this committee. Treasurer, Fund Development Director, the Vice Provost for Student Affairs or their designee to ensure that an advisor will serve on the committee, the Director of Legal Services for Students or their designee, that's to ensure that Mr. Kevin Wycliffe, the advisor to the Student Rights and Affairs Council, can serve on this committee as he has provided invaluable legal advice to the Student Senate in years past. The charge is to review the constitutional revision, also to review the University Senate Code to make sure there are no contradictions between the revised Constitution and the University Senate Code. It would meet at the direction of the chair unless its members provide otherwise. The usual days would be Tuesday or Thursday evenings to make sure that people know what time these meetings would generally be happening so they can be aware of their availability relating to serving on the Constitutional Review Committee. The committee would hold hearings with Student Senate members, collect comments from the Student Senate members. Submission to the legislative branch would need to be by a 2/3 vote of all of the voting members of the committee. In addition, any amendments to the revision would be by a 2/3 vote of all of the present committee members. This is to ensure that there is strong consensus before we proceed on any revision. If the if the student councils or students assembly decide to vote down the revision, it would return to the Constitutional Review Committee for further proceedings. If there is no approval, then the Constitutional Review Committee will die at the end of the spring 2025 semester. Are there any questions?
What questions do we have for our speaker, Ivana? Just talk loud.
Thank you. Can you clarify why the speaker has voting rights? Does the speaker have voting rights in General Assembly?
Here? If there's ties. The presiding officer in any case can only vote if there's ties. But yes, I do have voting rights if it were to be an exact tie on a bill.
Okay, but for this constitutional committee, the speaker would automatically have voting rights. Can you elaborate why?
Well, the heads of all of the branches of government have voting rights in the committee. The speaker, the student body president, and the chair of the elections commission. Also, I wrote the constitutional revision.
Okay, thank you.
What other questions, Simra?
And so just to clarify, is this committee just for this big overhaul of the Constitution, or is this for any time in the future there is to be one? Could you just clarify, like
This would be just for the spring 2025 semester per section 8 here. The review committee would expire upon a revised constitution being adopted by student senate or the end of the semester, because at the end of the semester, we aren't going to have student senators regularly available for it.
Got it.
Danae?
Who's chairing this committee?
Again, the chair of the Student Rights and Affairs Council. We wanted to have a student chair it, and we wanted to have a person who was not the author chair it.
And that person will also have voting rights,
In ties like in all other committees and boards of the legislative branch.
but not an outright vote.
What?
But not an outright vote, only if there's ties.
Yep. Mhm. It's the same language that all of the presiding officers in the legislative branch have, non-voting except to break ties.
All right, do we have any other questions? All right, seeing none, thank you, Chris.
I move to vote.
All right, we have a motion from Chris to vote. We have a second from the other Chris. Do we have any objections? Seeing none, Robert, post the poll. That's my bad.
Poll is posted.
I'll start calling Chris this Chris, the other Chris.
This is the other.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Oh, the poll's posted? 2 microphones. Okay. So the poll is now live in the Assembly voting channel. A vote in favor is a vote to create the Constitutional Review Committee. A vote opposed is a vote to not create the Constitutional Review Committee. This bill takes a majority vote for passage.
The whole Constitution.
Here's 3 days, read 90 pages. That's going to be the ultimate form. Like, it's going to have to be turned in as a bill term. It's just strike the entire thing. Oh, when we get back. I didn't explicitly say it. We'll just do it as soon as possible. We're not doing the registration one tonight. Especially because Danae has to sign the report. All right, now, time, please close the poll.
Are you clocked in?
I'm not.
Wait a minute.
Did you close it?
I didn't
Yeah,
clock
yeah,
in.
Yeah, I think. Everyone, voting is now closed. On the passage of Bill 2025-041, a bill to create a constitutional review committee, in favor 25, opposed 0, abstaining 1. Accordingly, this bill is passed. Thank you, everyone. The last item of regular legislation is Resolution 2025-304, a resolution urging the reassessment of dual employment restrictions for undergraduate student staff. Is 10 minutes fine?
10 minutes is fine, and I've sent the presentation to your teams.
Okay, we won't start now, but let me just pull it up. Not on here. On my Teams files.
Thank you all for being here and staying. It's almost 10 p.m.
Thank you all so much for staying here late the week before finals. You were lied to.
No.
Internal affairs is buying everyone ice cream.
No.
Hi,
I just wanna
everyone.
say, one of my eyes is getting the orange light into it, and
I
it
know I want
hurts.
to walk. I want to walk out in between my pushes, and that works, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Joel, and I'm going to be pitching this resolution to us today. We're going to do why me, background on employment in KU. What is this new implementation? What questions it raises? Why there's a problem? Why it's time sensitive? And questions. First, Joel, electrical engineering and philosophy double major, international undergraduate. Before coming to KU, I did a gap year, 6 months covering sports, doing investigation in sports and politics. I'm also a student worker. I'm currently residential assistant and writing consultant. As you soon find out, residential assistants are paid salaried and writing consultants are paid hourly. Note that because it's important too. Background on employment at KU, things we should already know. Undergrads are capped at 20 hours per week during the academic year, 40 hours during the break. Graduates 29 hours per week during the academic year, 40 hours in the break. Job classifications are assigned by HR before someone is employed. So we have exempt roles and non-exempt roles. Exempt means exempt from overtime, and these are salaried, so paid bi-weekly lump sum. You don't clock in, you don't clock out. Non-exempt roles are paid hourly, like the roles our leaders in Student Senate serve. If you're anything, DA, those kind of roles are hourly. As it stands, some students like myself, a lot of GTAs, GRAs, and anyone else who happens to be in such roles hold both exempt and non-exempt roles with both exempt and non-exempt designations. What that might look like is your GTA position is 20 hours a week, and you use the 9 hours a week to clock in and clock out at maybe the writing center or something like that. And what do we have now? New implementation. This email, if you look at the resolution, is in the appendix. Essentially, we have an email correspondence from housing, which is really from HR. And the new policy essentially prohibits undergraduate staff who are also in exempt roles from holding additional hourly positions. Essentially, if you're working any role that is salaried, you cannot cap up your hours to get to the limits. You can only work that salaried role. The specific line here actually says, third line says this classification, hey, if you're holding as part of your undergraduate student staff role, you're classified as a Kansas employee with the designation of an exempt staff. This classification comes with specific guidelines that prohibits holding an additional state of Kansas hourly non-exempt role simultaneously. At first, I took this and I was like, oh yeah, fair enough. Sad, unfortunate, means we can't work over the breaks or whatever, take up other roles. But I was like, I wonder what policy that is or what law that is. So I went and did some digging, and turns out we actually do have accommodations within the law for dual enrollment. It is right there, CFR 541.700. I don't know how that you actually say that. I'm not from the US, but if you go there, it specifies about primary duty, where essentially if someone has under the same employer both an exempt and non-exempt role, HR or whoever employed the admin is meant to take a broad scope look at the combination of both roles and determine whether that counts as an exempt for payroll purposes or non-exempt. For some reason, HR and housing, well, HR first and by extension housing has decided that that policy will not be considered, or the workaround will work way around that is not considered, and they've just outrightly put a ban on people holding both roles. What does this mean short term for us? Short term, this means that well, why this time since they've short term, this means this break, some people are going to find out that the DA roles they usually work over the summer or over winter break to make extra money and to cap up to 40. If they are currently holding salaried roles, they will not be able to click that employment. Oh yeah, I'm taking up this role for the break. People don't know this yet. Yesterday, we had our residential assistant meeting. Ironically, it wasn't even mentioned. We had a 2-hour meeting and nobody thought to mention it to the people who were working there that, hey, by the way, if you're working a DA role, if you weren't in a DA role and you wanted to take up a DA role, you will not be able to do that anymore. Second thing is that some people have also already committed to taking up new roles from next spring. Under these new prescriptions, they will not be able to take up new hourly roles if they are working any salaried role. Even if the salary role is 2-hour salaried role per week, per month, per week, they will not be able to clear up that remaining 18 hours. And that's pretty much it. Let's see. So this resolution essentially what it says, questions, contact me. But actually, I'm just going to, perfect. We're just going to go and actually look at what Joel's bill says. Resolution, forgive me. So here is a copy of our resolution. Essentially, all the whereas clauses are essentially me trying to provide a logical case of how we got here. The specific thing, there are two laws that the two laws I'm referencing that actually say or necessarily say that HR has the power, admin power, to do a work around dual enrollment are these two here, which is Fair Labor Standards Act. And that's what he has there. And this CFR, which I'm actually just going to have us look at very briefly in case you think I'm capping. Primary duty. To qualify for exemption on this part, an employee's primary duty must be the performance of the exempt. Primary duty means the principal or most important role, blah, 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 blah. And essentially, right here, factors to consider whether it's primary duty, which is essentially, hey, if this person is working 16 hours in this and 2 hours in this, they are working the 16 hours more in the exempt role. You can just categorize them for the sake of moving forward as exempt. That's one part I have an issue with. I remember, what did we say the message said from, what did we say the message said from housing? The message said from housing, this classification comes with specific guidelines that prohibit. So that is untrue. If at all, there is some background to it, but at the very least, it is a misrepresentation of what the policy actually says. I will admit that the policy, both in federal, which I've showed you, and in state law, it complicates payroll and admin work in terms of what you actually need to get that to work and to be in compliance, but it is not an outright prohibition as has been posed to be. And that is pretty much the base of my resolution. And the charges, which are pretty important too, is this is a resolution. Resolutions really can't do anything, but we can recommend things to be done. Review of interpretation calls for HR in collaboration with Housing Residents and University Admission Authority to review the current interpretation of the law, clarification and transparency. A report provided to Student Senate outlining the legal and administrative grounds for the current dual enrollment restriction, including an explanation of why mechanisms that were currently used were deemed unfeasible in the middle of the semester on a Wednesday last week. Third, it urges university administration to assess alternative implementation strategies. We have the fourth point is we have an Office of Integrity and Compliance who also kind of check these issues. So there's also a fourth charge here for the Office of Compliance to run their own check on those statutes. And the final is engagement with affected parties. I can't give you an estimate of how many people are affected, but most GTAs and most GRAs are capped at only 20 hours a week. So almost all of them are working some other role on campus to top of the remaining 9. Almost all RAs are pre-clocked 16 hours a week salaried. We have up to 20. Most RAs are working some other role for the other 4. This affects all of them. But more so, and I will admit that you can't actually hold those roles until spring, but people who were not already employed in those hourly roles will be unable to take up new hourly roles immediately. Thank you so much. Questions?
Questions? Vice Chair of Community Affairs.
Thank you. You're good. Have you run this by legal affairs or legal services to get like a professional opinion?
I have actually, but I think it's very fun because yes, I have run it through I have tried to, but it's particularly delicate because I should just read the message I got from the person I ran through in legal services. It says, I'll go back your question in detail, but there are first couple of things. First, I do not have any expertise in employment law, and also as an employee of the university, we cannot engage in matters adverse to the university. I may be limited to provide you general information regarding the language in specific statutes or regulations. And my second point to respond to that would also, I'm kind of coming at this from the journalism kick in me. The lawyers are really they're lawyers in the room, soon to be lawyers, but the law is the law, essentially. Yes, I could probably check that because I'm not qualified myself, but at the very least, there is misrepresentation in what was communicated from housing. And I think that alone is sufficiently covered by the resolution and what it targets. Yes.
We have a question from AO.
First of all, thank you very much because you must have gone out of your way to like actually do this. This is the type of looking out that we are expected to do for our students. So thank you very much. My question is, if this bill were to pass, what would be the next steps? Like, because you said that like you've gone to legal, like you've gotten legal counsel and there's little they can do. But like, if this bill were to pass, what would be the next step?
So very interesting. I think it's fascinating that I first spoke about me being a residential assistant. No matter what happens with this resolution, I will have to resign from my role as RA imminently. So once this resolution, if it passes through today, I'll be resigning tomorrow. Most of us who are currently in these roles have no choice. Housing essentially considered that yes, they know the implementation will cause people who work these roles to make a decision whether to continue or to pick up the hourly roles they're working. Similarly, my job at the Writing Center, we have GTAs who are currently there, and I think apparently HR initially planned to implement this immediately from spring, but a lot of the people in the Wingspan, which is peer tutoring, supplementary instructions, and all of those spaces said, hey, if you implement this in spring, we will have no workers. And I think that kind of ties to the point we should think about. Essentially, we are preventing the most qualified people in these academic or tutoring roles from filling up the roles, because they will be filled up eventually if we all resign, but you essentially be having the rest.
Further questions? Sorry, speaker's time has expired. Is there a motion to extend time? It is currently 9:52. We do have to be packing up here in no later than a few minutes. I see AO.
Motion to vote.
Motion to vote. I see a second from the Associate Senator for the Finance Council. Are there any objections to proceeding to a vote on this resolution? Okay, we have 2 objections to voting.
This is a split.
Yeah, you can see why you object.
Well, I just want to hear on, like, if you've spoken to, like, what is it, housing and, like, have you actually received any confirmation on a reason why?
Yes, we have. Robert,
hold on. I'll hold the motion to vote pending if you answer this question really quickly.
Yes, we have. Robert actually, the internal director, affairs director, actually sent another email to housing, which was responded to by Sarah Walters, who is the executive director, who is not the person that actually sent this first email. And Sarah Walters essentially confirmed that yes, this is a policy they're implementing, but specifically, this is a policy that HR has prescribed for them to implement, and that HR actually wanted this to be implemented in spring, start of spring. They compromised to end of spring, and also that they also acknowledge that this is going to have, and I should probably read that part. We know this is going to affect the student experience for most students, something at KU. It is there underneath, probably one of the last lines. I'm just going to get that right under here. Oh, that's exactly what this is meant to find out, because that is what the resolution actually does. The resolution is for us to get a why. So the resolution actually doesn't like punch any holes. It asks questions essentially.
Okay, where we were at now, we had a motion to vote, a second objection. Are you withdrawing your objection or are you still objecting? Still objecting, okay.
Question.
Are you okay?
Okay, he's okay. Yeah, I think this is a really incredible resolution.
Really
Hang on.
quickly, just 1 second. Without objection, the Speaker of the Students' Assembly is authorized to declare the meeting adjourned at 9:58 p.m.
58. Okay. Really quick question. So, hypothetically, let's say this resolution is enacted, so a salaried worker is able to work supplementally hourly time to pay. So to receive payment, excuse me. So let's say a salaried worker for 16 hours clocks in 4 additional hours, or maybe they clock in 5 or 6 hours. Would that same person be eligible for paid time off and other employment benefits at the University of Kansas?
So that's actually a good question, because another thing I didn't put out is contributions. The other factor that complicates why we have exempt and non-exempt status is because of contributions. How contributions are collected differently depending on the role. 1, 2. At the moment, the first thing I actually showed you was fundamentally we have a cap within the institution around 20 hours work in. So ideally, you should not even be working up to 20 hours. So if you should not be working more than 20 hours, it means technically you are actually not even allowed to have overtime, because you'll be breaking the law of 20 hours. So yes, I don't know if that answers sufficiently. Essentially, technically, there's no overtime. Well, there should be no overtime. You shouldn't be allowed to work on overtime.
Are there still objections to the motion to vote? Are there still objections to the motion to vote? Going once? Going twice? Okay. We will proceed to a vote on Resolution 304. It's going to be a minute. I'm letting you know before it's posted. We're working on it. We don't want to make mistakes.
Oh, wait. Yes, I do.
Okay. The resolution is now posted under the Students' Assembly voting channel. A vote in favor is a vote to adopt this resolution as a statement by the Student Senate. A vote opposed is a vote to take no statement as the Student Senate. This resolution takes a majority vote to pass. This will be a 1-minute vote.
Can I give my announcements while they're voting?
Yes.
Okay, I have 3 really quick announcements. The first of it, please, if you ordered for polos, get those paid, because we can't place that order until we've received the money. So please do that soon. Council leadership, chairs, vice chairs, secretary, you should have received an email from me in regards to getting your stipends. Please reply to that, because I want to be able to pay you this semester, because I know a lot of you did not get paid last year. And lastly, tomorrow is Stop Day Eats, which is hosted by Student Affairs and co-hosted with some of our departments. It's at the Jayhawk Welcome Center from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Stop by for French toast, chicken strips, and hot cocoa. At 9 p.m., a study break. If you're on your way to Mass Street at establishment, before you get down there, maybe stop by, fill your tummies. So free food, games, fun things.
Yes. I know. Everyone, please, your attention very quickly. The voting poll is now closed. On the question of passage of Resolution 2025-304, in favor 22, opposed 2, abstaining 7. Accordingly, the resolution is passed. Under the speaker's previous order, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much. Have a good finals week. Have a good winter break. We'll see you back in January. Goodbye.
I ain't never going home. So I'll go home.
10 bills, 1 evening.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you. Shay, can I end the live stream? Wait, I think you need to put in the stuff when you end it. Shay, we are about to be kicked out of the event.
Sorry, I wanted to pose.
Yeah, well, I agree too. I just haven't noticed. Yes, no, it's not a W-2, it's a W-9, so it should be pretty complex, but yeah, like I said.